The worst sound that you can hear right before the race, certainly, especially the last race at the Cup, is can we get Jeff Causey on board? Because that means something's not right.
We literally left the morning, pulled the jib up, sheeted the wing on, and then a big bang, and we had quite a major failure in one of our wing control systems up the wing.
I knew straight away based on that probably something structural, there was a structural concern with the wing. We had no idea what it was.
So you can imagine we come off the dock, and this is the most important race for everyone, not just the sailors, the entire team.
We'd just come off of 9 do-or-die races in a row. We didn't know if we were going to be done that day, if we were going to come back to work and try again the next day.
You know, I think we've still got a shot at winning, so we're going to have to work a little bit harder and see if we can up our performance there.
And we have a major failure that literally could stop us racing that one race for it all.
So control arm 2, which is the first one from the bottom, about 10 meters up from the deck, there's a bit of structure in that shear web that supports the rotation point that had started to break loose. So the whole bottom of that shear web section was starting to drift forward towards the D-spar of the main element and allow the rotation pin to move forward as well for that control arm. That's what was broken. It's not like breaking your vertebrae, it's probably like breaking a piece of it off that maybe you could walk around and get through a race without that piece, but if it got any worse from where it was, you'd be crippled. So,
literally for the next 40 minutes, Jeff and the guys were working away up the wing.
I mean, I basically went up with some really quick 2-part glue. I started pushing as much glue into the cracks in the carbon that had started to separate from each other.
At that same time, we had the shore team on the boat grinding bits of carbon C-plate to send up to Jeff up the wing and try and repair it. And all the time while this is happening, we're all trying to think about the race. You know, I just remember sitting there with Tom and Ben, we're going through the weather and we're looking at all the live readings, but while we're doing that, there's this, you know, really rough sound of carbon being ground on the back of the deck, and Jeff, you know, shouting instructions back to the guys. And it wasn't the ideal preparation for a final race. I think a lot of us were thinking, geez, is this how it's going to go down? You know, will we really not get to race this final race? Ben Ainsley and I looked at each other and started laughing. You know, you kind of had to see the black humour side of what was happening. But here was clearly a situation where, you know, the shore team and particularly Jeff had to pull this repair off. One, he had to pull it off in a very short time frame, but two, it had to hold together for the entire race. And I'm sure he was nervous until we finally got across that finish line.
My only thought was to ask Jimmy and Kyle to give it as much time as they possibly thought they could before they turned the boat and bore away and loaded up that piece of structure again, just to give the glue as long as we could to make sure it was fully cured, because if it wasn't, if it was still wet and we turned, it was coming off again straight away and all that work was lost. So.
And I sort of had a bit of a laugh and said, yeah, sure, no worries. And as soon as he jumped off the boat, off we went, full throttle.
We are all clear. Race 19, one race for it all.
Such a critical moment in this race. Give the design team a lot of credit, the shore team an incredible amount of credit for sticking with these guys and giving them a faster boat at this stage. Hearts in the throats of every American sailor around the world as the boat just about takes off at the top gate.
The comeback of 2013 is complete. America's Cup will stay in America.
Man, if it wasn't for the shore team and Jeff being able to pull off that repair, we may not be here today.